You know, anytime a catastrophic event happens in this country, I always hope that maybe people will show just one shred of human decency. And I hope that people will somehow put their political differences aside and come together. I always hope for that. And I truly realize the more that we get further and further into MAGA that that's wishful thinking on my part. But there's times where I think back on 9/11 and I say, you know, just for a small window of time there, we were all together and we were all Americans and we were all caring about one another. And now we're sitting back watching California burn to the ground and we're watching MAGA politicize it. I'm seeing memes of people making fun of this. I'm seeing memes of people acting like, oh, this is just the Hollywood elite getting what they deserve. I'm seeing memes of people saying it's God's wrath. And just a few weeks ago, we had hurricanes hit here in the east, and there was red states that was absolutely destroyed by the hurricanes. And I knew that Joe Biden would be there for those states. I knew he would be there for those governors. I knew that Joe Biden would not get on Twitter and type in all caps and come up with nicknames for the governors. And I knew that he wouldn't sit and play the blame game. I knew he would be there for them because he's a real leader. And out in California, they have a real leader. His name's Gavin Newsom, and he's doing the damn best that he can in this situation, and he's leading while Donald Trump is sitting and hurling insults at him. And while Donald Trump is sitting and hurling his insults and throwing the blame on him with no evidence whatsoever to back up any of it, Gavin Newsom is still trying to reach out his hand. I'm going to play a couple of clips from Newsom because this is what a leader looks like. And I think MAGA has completely lost sight of that because they're all about owning liberals. That's all they care about. And they're not looking at the bigger picture that this is a leader and they have a toddler. But take a look at this clip from Newsom and then we're going to play some more.
People are literally fleeing. People have lost their lives. Kids lost their schools. Families completely torn asunder. Churches burned down. This guy wanted to politicize it. I have a lot of thoughts and I know what I want to say. I won't. I stood next to a president of the United States of America today, and I was proud to be with Joe Biden. And he had the backs of every single person in this community. He didn't play politics, didn't try to divide any of us.
Finally, your message to the folks here, to this community.
I mean, we have their backs, and we're going to be back, and this is going to be a long recovery process. But look, we have residents moving back into Paradise, California. I've seen remarkable recovery efforts. I've seen remarkable sense of community, purpose, resilience. So, I'm not just playing the politician role of optimism. I really am long-term optimistic. But the devastation to hear people wailing and crying, concerned about their pet, their family, they're just bewildered about what they're experiencing. And again, not just experience. I was not talking past tense. This is happening in real time. 0% containment.
You know, when he said the part about those things I want to say, but I won't, part of me says to myself, just go ahead and say it. At this point, just go ahead and say it. Nobody can blame you. You're out there trying to be the leader. You've got this guy calling you names, and you've got people spreading all these heartless memes at this particular point in time. Maybe Governor Newsom should just take the gloves off and come right back at it. I know that he's always going to take the high road, and I can respect that. But maybe it's time to just lay into these people because that's the only thing they understand. And there's a whole lot of people out there who didn't vote in this last election, and I believe a lot of them didn't vote because they think that the system is rigged against them. There's no point in voting. Their lives won't be changed one way or the other. And one of the biggest criticisms of Democrats is, well, they just won't fight back. They won't actually stand up and fight back to anybody. So, you know what? At this point, if you got something to say, you might as well just go ahead and say it because you're not going to lose us. I mean, we're still going to have your back. We're still going to believe in you. And you might actually win over a few people and wake back up a few people who fell asleep and didn't realize just how important these moments are. But while all this is going on, Governor Newsom is not only battling Trump and him being a toddler and refusing to work with him, he's also battling the misinformation that's being peddled out there. And you got Elon Musk retweeting stuff and saying truth and yes, and he always puts his little one word along with it. But right here, Newsom had to come out and call out Musk for spreading misinformation and said, stop encouraging looting by lying and telling people it's been decriminalized. It's not. It's illegal. It always has been. Bad actors will be arrested and prosecuted. But they're out here spreading that type of misinformation and putting it out there and don't realize when they do, it just adds more fuel to the fire, no pun intended. All it does is just rile people up and get people more angry and mad, and it does nothing to help with the situation. I would love to see people like Elon Musk put his money where his mouth is. If he really cares about this country and they're all about putting America first, here's a golden opportunity to put California first. Here's a golden opportunity to put your politics aside. But here's a clip I bet you didn't think you would see. This is Fox News, even Fox News having to admit that, yeah, they're working around the clock to fix this problem. Take a look.
This video from last night. You know, the National Guard, they've got Humvees positioned at major intersections. They're working nonstop around the clock, rotating in soldiers at these locations to stop people from going into the houses and businesses that have been destroyed. They want to prevent people from looting and keep folks away from downed power lines and gas leaks, very dangerous situations. And they say they know that a lot of people are coming through here. They want badly to get back into this area. They want to check on their homes, but they are urging people to please give them patience.
We're from this community too. All of our soldiers are from the California Army National Guard, and we're right here close to home, so we really do feel for these people.
So even Fox News had to admit that they have been working around the clock, and it's just crazy that we're in this position where there's so much misinformation being pumped out there into the world, and there's so much infighting when we should all be coming together. But I want to get back to Gavin Newsom here because, of course, Trump blames him for all of it, and I want to get back to Newsom's response. This is him on Meet the Press. Take a look.
Trump has blamed you for this crisis. He called you incompetent. What's your response?
Well, I called for him to come out, take a look for himself. We want to do it in the spirit of an open hand, not a closed fist. He's the president-elect. I respect the office. We have a president of the United States that within 36 hours provided a major disaster declaration over a text. We had support from the president of the United States, Joe Biden, with 100% reimbursement, all the resources you could hope for or imagine, constant communication. I'd like to extend that to the president-elect. I don't know what he's referring to when he talks about the Delta smelt in reservoirs. The reservoirs are completely full, the state reservoirs here in Southern California. That mis and disinformation, I don't think advantages or aids any of us. Responding to Donald Trump's insults, we would spend another month. I'm very familiar with them. Every elected official that he disagrees with, very familiar with them.
And you know, that's the thing. I know that Joe Biden disagrees politically with the red state governors, but it's never stopped him one time from being there for the people. He still has always went to bat for the people. Even though those states voted overwhelmingly against him, he's still always there because that's what a true leader does. But Donald Trump doesn't. He just continues to push misinformation out into the world, continues to throw his insults, and continues to put the blame on the governors if he disagrees with them. And I want to play you one more clip here from Newsom responding to Trump putting all the blame on him. Take a look.
Multiple times, Mr. Trump has threatened to withhold aid for California wildfires, both as president and now again as president-elect. Are you worried that he might actually do that?
Well, I mean, he's done it in Utah, he's done it in Michigan, they did it in Puerto Rico. He did it to California back before I was even governor in 2018, until he found out folks in Orange County voted for him, and then he decided to give the money. So he's been at this for years and years and years. It transcends states, including, by the way, Georgia. He threatened similarly. So that's his style, and you know, we take it seriously to the extent that in the past it's taken a little bit more time. I've been pretty expressive about that in the context of someone threatening our first responders in terms of supporting the immediacy of their needs.
That's what you take it as, that President-elect Trump is threatening the first responders here.
Well, I mean, it's what he said. He said, I'm not going to support the firefighting efforts. I'm not going to support the state of California as it relates to its emergency management. He made this pretty clear during the election, unless they do my bidding.
Did you notice the part where he said once he realized the people in Orange County voted for him, then he was willing to give them money? That tells you everything you need to know about Donald Trump. There is so many things when it comes to Trump that would be deal breakers for me. The biggest one now is January 6th. I would never be able to get past that. I would never get past the fact that he was found liable for sexual abuse and defamed the victim. There's no way that I could vote for a man like that and then turn and look at my daughter. But there's also no way in hell that I could vote for a dude who would play politics at a moment like this when people's homes are burning to the ground. We're all Americans. I don't care if you're in California, Tennessee, Alabama, Michigan, Maine. I don't care where the hell you're at. We're supposed to all be in this together. And what a president is supposed to do, yes, of course, we're not always going to agree with presidents. I don't always agree with Joe Biden. So that's natural that we're going to disagree. We shouldn't agree with the president on every single issue. But what a president is supposed to do is go out there and try to unite people and bring people together. And even though people didn't vote for him, he's supposed to work in a manner that will convince people that he was the better man for the job. Trump does none of that. He sits back, he hurls his insults, he comes up with the name calling, and spreads a bunch of misinformation out into the world, and his followers just sit back and lap it up. And when I see people sharing memes saying this is God's wrath, when I see people sharing memes talking about it being the Hollywood elite and trying to say, oh, well, where was the Hollywood elite when it come to, Asheville, North Carolina? What they don't understand is every time that a catastrophic event hits a red state, it's a blue state that pulls them out of the hole. It's a blue state that gets them back on their feet. So they can sit there and shit on the blue states all day long, but it's always going to be the blue states that pulls the red states up when they're drowning. And so I think people really need to stop and realize that this is not a moment to play politics. I'm probably never going to get through to the hardcore MAGAs, but there have been some people that are starting to see through it. So maybe as we go forward, there will finally be some straws that break some camels' backs. I hope so. I don't know if someone is still hanging on to Donald Trump at this point in the game. I don't know if they could be helped or if the Kool-Aid is already completely kicked in to where they can't be saved. But I would hope that people would look at this and see it and realize this is a catastrophic event. This is a time we need to come together. And Gavin Newsom is sitting there with insults being hurled at him, with misinformation being held at him, and with threats to, I won't help you if you don't agree with me. All those things hanging over his head, he's still sitting there being the bigger man saying, I'll shake hands with you if you'll unclench your fist. So, I don't know. The moral of this video, I guess, would be that Gavin Newsom is a true leader and Donald Trump's not. But I hope that we see something give, because we're going to have to if we're going to move forward as a country. But, folks, I truly do appreciate you for supporting what it is that I do here on the channel. I don't care blue state, red state. We're all Americans. We're all in this together. And I may disagree with someone's politics to no end, but if their home's underwater or on fire, I'm going to be there for them. That's the difference. I'm not going to be sitting and spreading and peddling misinformation and hurling insults. So if you subscribe to my channel, you'll never get that from me. I'm not perfect. I won't always get it right. I'll backtrack when I screw up and say, hey, got that part wrong. But I do appreciate y'all supporting what it is that I do, and I'll keep trying to do my best at it. Thank y'all so much.